Thank you, French. But shalom, greetings to you all. I hope you all had great freedom festivals and seders and honored the loved and lost in your families and lives. And for many, the ability to go back to a show we've posted and observe a sacred occasion anytime has meant a lot to people. I will certainly try to continue to meet the wants and needs of all who express them. Now, I cannot believe that I misquoted an immortal Beatles song, but I did. And I even had the words written out in front of me correctly. And I still reverse them. It must be my dyslexia acting up and is a reminder not to rush. Now, sometimes I do change words to suit what we're talking about, but this time it was simply a mistake. Well, I've been extremely busy with a myriad of projects, but I won't use that as an excuse. And weddings and services. And I do hope, Natalia, that your wedding goes as beautifully as I imagine it will. I am so sorry I cannot be there, but my blessing will ring on. It's been a long, hard month, and it's been a pretty cool spring so far, but I certainly hope that Brett had a fantastic birthday and has an awesome time with Ellen in Sedona, a magical and mystical land of spirit, of energy. There are places you go where the earth screams out to you, places that man has always been drawn to, places where some of the greatest edifices and developments of man took place. The great cathedrals of Europe, which I love to visit, built on sacred centers. The fantastic heads on Easter Island. Machu Picchu, the city in the sky, and still one of my most memorable and one of my favorite trips, the Great Glastonbury Tour, King Arthur's Avalon, Stonehenge, and the Great Ley Lines of England, the Pyramids of Giza, which I am thankful to have been in on more than one occasion, the Rock Under the Dome in Jerusalem, probably the most amazing vortex of all. And in the southwest USA, Sedona. What a wonderful place to go and celebrate the ending of a significant part of life and the beginning of a new phase. I have not been there in many years. And one of my great native teachers, who taught me the art of the soul journey, lives there. You cannot help but have a great time, and some of what you learn there will not be evident until the time comes. Roll up. Roll up for the mystery tour. Roll up. Roll up for the mystery tour. Roll up, and that's an invitation. Roll up for the mystery tour. Roll up to make a reservation. Roll up for the mystery tour. Enjoy your magical mystery tour. I know it will be a very important one for you. And I have to share with you all that I recently saw a fantastic soul map that a student of mine sent to me. It's a map of the individual soul, its personality, its wants and needs, its fears. It is a true picture of the individual soul and its direction. And I'm sure that when he's finished with its design, he will share it with you all. And you all can begin to map out your own destinies. Well, friends, it's been several weeks since our last regular Torah section, and they were not the most enthralling, although each, in their own right, have something amazing to say. This week, two very powerful items are briefly mentioned. The first is the tabernacle ceremony for the Day of Atonement, the day which will become the most holy day in the calendar. And the other is the crucial law of not eating blood, because it contains the essence of life. We have just seen the incineration of Aaron's two sons on their first day of the priesthood, and now it is acharei mot, after the death. So God tells Moses to tell Aaron, forget it, move on, and instructs Moses about these crucial rules. So let's take a quick look at these. The first describes one of the strangest sacrificial rituals in the Bible, Leviticus 16:7. And he shall take the two goats and set them before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And he shall put lots on the two goats, one for the Lord and one for Azazel. And Aaron shall bring forward the goat for which the lot for the Lord comes up, and he shall make it an offense offering. And the goat for which the lot for Azazel comes up shall be set live before the Lord to atone upon it, to send it off to Azazel in the wilderness. And we've discussed how an offense offering was another, perhaps more appropriate term in many instances for sin offering. We have a pretty good picture being painted here. Well, we've learned a lot about lots, Pur, when we learned about Purim a few weeks ago, a day of lot casting. And now we know why Yom, the day, Kippur, of lots, is the day of lots. Aaron cast 2 lots on the 2 goats, one for God and one for Azazel. Now, we have no idea who or what Azazel is, but this is the key to the ritual of atonement for the people, and to expiate their sins. And he shall atone over the sacred zone for the uncleanness of the Israelites and for their sins according to all their offenses. Well, how does he do this? Leviticus 16:21 tells us, Aaron shall lay his 2 hands on the head of the live goat and confess over it all the transgressions of the Israelites and all their sins according to all their offenses. And he shall put them on the head of the goat and send it off in the hands of a man for the hour to the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon it all the transgressions to a remote region, and he shall send off the goat to the wilderness. The sins of the people are transferred to the goat. It is the scapegoat. And it's an amazing ritual, and one that is reenacted by Chabad annually at Kaporet. And the prayer of transference and expiation is something fantastic to hear. And we'll talk more about it when we examine Yom Kippur later in the year. But you can picture it. 2 lots. On one is the word La Adonai, for God. And on the other, La Azazel, for Azazel. Which will come up? Now, the transgressions of the people is physically carried away by the goat. Azazel's not represented as a competing deity, although he may very well have been. But we don't know. We just have no information about him. But the ritual does depend upon a polarity between God, who represents the pale of human civilization, and Azazel, representing the remote wilderness, the realm of disorder and raw formlessness. Now, during the year, the accumulated sins and transgressions and physical pathologies and oversights of the Israelites have built up a kind of smog of pollution that threatens the sanctity of the tent of meeting and the Holy of Holies within it. And by implication, of course, for later times, the sanctity of the temple. The elaborate rite of purgation scrubs everything clean of impurity, making the sacred zone viable for another year. And it shall be a perpetual statute for you in the 7th month. On the 10th of the month you shall degrade yourselves, and no task shall you do, the native and the alien who sojourns in your midst. For on this day it will be atoned for you, to cleanse you of all your offenses. Before the Lord you shall be cleansed. It is a Sabbath of Sabbaths for you, and you shall afflict yourselves, an eternal law. Well, we will talk more about it later, but degrade and afflict is the same term used to describe the Egyptian treatment of the Israelites. And it is applicable to everyone, citizen and alien alike. And it's got to be pretty important when you're told it is the Sabbath of Sabbaths. That's even more powerful than the double secret probation from Animal House. And then in Leviticus 17:10, and every man of the house of Israel and of the sojourner who sojourns in their midst, who consumes any blood, I shall set my face against the living person who consumes blood and cut him off. Anyone who consumes blood, whether Israelite or alien, will face the wrath of God. And we've seen what God can do. Just think back a short time to the plagues. And that's fresh in people's memories. Because, my friends, the life of the flesh is in the blood. The energy of life flows through the blood. This is the introduction of a crucial thing. It introduces the sacrosanct character of blood as the principal bearer and symbol of life. It has been hinted at before. Here it is formalized. The person who slaughters an animal without having the priest cast some of its blood on the legitimate altar of God is considered to have committed murder. Murder! You see, taking of life, even for consumption of food, is a grave act that must be balanced by an act of expiation. In Leviticus, God forbids the slaughter of animals outside of a formal ritual setting. For Leviticus, there is no such occupation as butcher. If one wants to eat meat, one must bring the animal to the priest who sacrifices it in the prescribed manner at the altar. retains a portion of it for the sustenance of the priesthood, and gives back the rest for consumption. And amid these amazing rules on atonement and blood, there is an unseen and unsaid shift. It's about to take place in this book of laws. We are about to undergo a shift from ritual law to ethical laws. We may have wondered why we can eat cows and not pigs, but we do not wonder why we should not steal, murder, lie, covet. From this point on, the law includes diverse matters such as leaving portions of harvest for the poor, judging cases without bias, either towards the rich or towards the poor, honoring the aged, fearing one's parents, not injuring the blind or deaf, not gossiping, not making one's daughter a prostitute, not committing adultery. This shift in law brings feelings of empathy with other human beings and attributes value to the lives of all of them. Something neither law nor religion had been concerned about before. This is the Parsha of Transformation, and it carries these two phenomenal pieces, both as simple matters of fact: the Day of Atonement, consumption of blood. Probably the two most important underlying themes in Judaism: forgiveness and the sacredness of life. And both of these crucial things come after the death of Aaron's two sons, as if they should just carry on. After all, God told Moses to tell Aaron not to mourn them. Well, last week we performed Yizkor, the public mourning, the public grieving ceremony, and it's a wonderful ritual. When someone dies, the fabric of our lives has a tear in it. Most of us do not know how to deal with grief. Now, many years ago, after I had become a certified grief counselor, I helped develop a grief support system designed to deal with all loss, not just death. And those groups continue, and we run several of them a year, and we just began another one, which did coincide with Yizkor. We all suffer loss. We all grieve, and the effect of loss carries through our lifetimes. When someone we love dies, quite often we think of the things we did not say, did not do, which is one of the reasons why I am always reminding you to tell those you love that you love them. Aaron did not get to grieve his sons. We carry guilt. We carry remorse. We carry a huge weight. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. Boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. We carry the weight of so much on us when we lose someone. Aaron lost his two oldest sons, and not a word is said. In fact, he was told to ignore it. Do not carry that weight. We cannot ignore the pain of loss. We should not ignore the pain of loss. Honor those in your life who've had an impact. Celebrate their lives in honoring them. The world is sacred, so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings. Live free. Be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light, and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive. Learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. The time to celebrate freedom is now. The time to be reborn is now. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week. A week of love and light and peace and healing, and honor the people in your life. It's important that you do that. When you're sad and when you're lonely and you haven't got a friend, just remember that death is not the end. And all that you held sacred falls down and does not bend. Just remember that death is not the end. Not the end, no, no. Not the end, no, no. Just remember, death is not the end. Now that was Bob Dylan's Death Is Not the End. A great song, and one he has never performed live. Death is not the end. It is a transition of space and time. It is a transformation of a soul. And 4 times a year we honor those in the throes of transition. Thank you for joining me last week in honoring those in your lives. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being. Keep teaching. Keep sharing. Keep shining. Keep spreading your holiness. And thank you all for joining me. Shabbat Shalom. Take care. Bye.